Hello YouTube explorers. We've just left the beautiful city of Dijon and we are now on our way to Grenoble.
This should be the first area where we get some real good mountains to get some nice car cam footage.
Welcome to the long free ride. The route planning software told us that this journey was going to take 3 hours and 11 minutes of driving time, covering 221 miles. It said we'd need to charge twice and be stationary for 1 hour 17 minutes. We're taking the motorways today, but I'll let John explain why.
We wouldn't normally use the péages to navigate France because we want to see some of the real parts of the real little towns and all that sort of thing. But today, we need to get from A to B as quickly as possible because I do not want to be away from the toilet for too long, I can tell you. Yes, a bit of the old holiday Delhi belly going on. Or maybe we should call it Dijon belly. Who knows? Anyway, let's hope we get there quick.
The first charging stop, although it was a bit of an uneven car park and rocky ground, had a really quaint farm shop with lots of lovely local produce. I daren't buy anything though, given John was still feeling quite sick and he didn't even leave the car.
It wasn't long before the Alps started to grow on the horizon. My plan had been to use one of our days in Grenoble to drive into the mountain visiting Val d'Isère. But the way I was feeling, I began to doubt that would happen. Grenoble sits in the junction of two major alpine valleys. Our route arrived through one, but the Tesla supercharger was located in the other, north of the city. Like many French superchargers, it was located at a hotel and had a stunning mountainous backdrop. We arrived with 22% in the car's battery and planned to recharge it back to 80%, ready for our onward journey.
Good news, we've arrived north of Grenoble and are charging with the Alps behind us. Look at that. So far so good. Sun's even come out. I might need my shades. This is unheard of on this trip. There are hotel facilities here. We've not actually been in yet, but we might. And we're probably going to be charging for about 30 minutes. Top the car right back up to 80%. And then head into Grenoble to find our apartment. Wish us luck.
I did not leave the car at the charging stop, even if the background was stunning. I was still monitoring internal goings-on and trying not to upset the hornet's nest.
It's a tree surgeon, I take it. No, there is a tree.
As we followed the sat-nav, the road to the apartment hotel was somewhat unexpected. Whilst Michelle had seen that the accommodation was only a few hundred metres from the city centre, she hadn't noticed it was also a couple of hundred metres above it.
In 200 metres, sharp turn right to stay on the right ceiling. Are you kidding?
suppose. See.
This place better have a good view.
Now your destination is on the left.
And it was a great view. Grenoble advertises itself as the capital of the Alps due to its size and proximity to the mountains. The Bastille Fort, which was right above where we were staying, was actually begun in the Middle Ages, and in 1875 the cable car transport system called Les Bouilles, the Bubbles, was opened by a cement company for freight because it connected Grenoble to a quarry.
With no stomach meds in our first aid kit and no open pharmacies, my situation was becoming somewhat dire. The next day was my birthday, but all I could manage was a short and feeble message to my well-wishers. Thank you, Bells, for your kind birthday wishes. Today is probably not going to be one of my best birthdays, as I'm laid up completely. I've got a chest infection and food poisoning, so I've been in bed for a day and a bit now. Probably got another day to go, but the love of Michelle is pulling me through. See you soon.
The path down from our accommodation to the pharmacy at the side of the river had 260 stone steps, which were really quite difficult, and Wikipedia tells me there is a height difference of at least 230 metres. However, it was nicely wooded, and I even saw a very pretty wall mural that looked a bit like a tree and maybe serpent, who knows, or spiky plants, not quite sure. But some efforts were made to make the path more attractive. At the bottom of the path is the Fountain of the Lion and the Serpent, or Snake. This fountain was opened in 1843 and is made from a local stone called sassenage, and also the snake is in bronze, by a sculptor called Victor Sappi. Over the next couple of days I wandered around Grenoble and some of its sights, but I was finding it hard to feel good about the place. That may be because deep down I was worried that John's illness meant that our trip was over. John is no stranger to chest infections, as he suffers from bronchiectasis and has been an asthmatic from the age of 7. Fortunately, he is prescribed rescue antibiotics, and these were in our medkit. However, the reality is that these infections can leave him drained for weeks to come. Add on to that the food poisoning from a dodgy Dijon savoury croissant, and I wasn't sure he'd have the stamina for the trip we had planned.
On the fourth and last day of our stay in Grenoble, I finally managed to leave the apartment, but only to go up 2 floors and have a drink at the bar. Michelle said that we should abandon the trip, but I said I'd soldier on. Stay tuned over the coming weeks and we'll find out whether that was a good decision or not. Let's have a look at the stats for this episode. We drove 228 miles, which is 366 kilometres.
We added 103 kilowatt hours to the battery over 2 charging stops, and that in total took 1 hour 5 minutes.
Because we used Tesla chargers, the charge to us was nothing. If we had to pay Tesla, it would have cost us £26.27. There were no other ancillary costs for the car.
Now let's add that to the grand total for the trip so far. We hope the Long Free Ride is demonstrating that you can do long road trips in an electric vehicle. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel to help us bring this message to a wider audience. Come to the south of France, they said. Come see the Côte d'Azur. Well, I can't see much of it at the moment. I really hope you can see more than I can.